Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Shadow Star podcast. My name is Blake Gerhards, also known as Blake Shadow,
And you are talking to Preston Bradford, aka Enzo Star.
and you're watching the Shadow Star podcast. All right. Welcome to our first podcast. I'm joined here, as always, will be with Preston Bradford. And we've wanted to start this podcast for a while now. Do you want to tell everyone why that was?
Yeah, so basically we wanted to thing where we could interact with people, and we wanted to be able to talk to each other about our views on things such as DC and Marvel, or whether it be any other excess superheroes. Talk about anything wrestling wise, so that's WWE, AEW, and other promotions around the world. And we just wanted to sit down, talk about it, and hopefully give a show for everybody else.
Yeah, me and Preston have always been huge nerds, and that's what we've bonded over ever since middle school and high school. Um, we would talk about it with our friends at school, and me and him were always kind of known as the experts. Uh,
Oh yeah,
People would always come to us with questions and stuff. So we were kind of god tier in that regard, and we were kind of known for that at our high school. So
yeah, definitely felt good too.
it
So
did. Uh, they would be like dinner table or lunchtime conversations between me and him every day. It's just what we love, um, and it's what gets us by, especially in these hard times.
oh dude, crazy.
So, before we get into Justice League, what was your experience with DC growing up?
Ah man, dude. It was DC was just it was my everything, it was my childhood. I grew up watching Batman and the animated series. I watched the classic Superman animated series, the ones that were like way back. And then
The
I
who made those? I know
dude,
what
I'm
you're
drawing a
talking.
blank there. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about, though.
yeah, but I grew up on that, the Batman, the animated series, and then a bunch of different Batman shows. And I grew up on the movies, such as Flashpoint, and all the like Batman Begins, Dark Knight. I grew up on all these movies that were so amazing, and it was a big part of my childhood, and it makes me feel so happy to be able to work with this and be able to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Um, my experience with DC growing up has been very similar. I would watch the Batman on Boomerang late at night. It would be on at like 10 o'clock. And then from that point on, it was just upward spiral. I'd make my own Batman movies with my really cheap video camera I had. That was when I first started making movies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I remember being super excited when The Dark Knight Rises came out. Um, I got to see that in theaters, and that was a lot of fun. And I always wanted a live action Justice League movie.
Oh
And
yeah, me too.
that's going to be that's going to segue into our segment now. So let's take it back to the beginning with Man of Steel in 2013, because not only was this a Superman movie, but it was a Superman movie produced by Christopher Nolan, who directed the Dark Knight trilogy. So we were expecting this darker, more realistic reboot of Superman,
Right.
and it was directed by Zack Snyder. I didn't know much about him at the time. Um, but I follow his work a lot now. But what did you think of Man of Steel when it came out?
Oh, dude, I thought about just it was amazing. And being such a Superman fan, I've been a long time Superman fan. I've known just about everything there is to know about Superman. I've read a lot of his comics, and just to see that in a different persona in my time, because there was Superman movies back in the day
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Christopher Reeve, and then have him with me, and it just felt so surreal to have a movie with Superman. And I loved the movie. I thought it was great. I thought it definitely didn't get the praise it deserved because it was such a great movie. People didn't like it. I loved it. It was such a great movie. Um, and I really think that Henry Cavill freaking just smashed the park with Superman. I thought it was amazing.
absolutely.
Completely freaking hit the ball out of the park there with him.
No, I completely agree. When I first saw it, I went in there expecting it to be a good movie, but when I was in the theater watching it, the spectacle was just so large and out of this world, because we've never seen Superman fight like this on screen before. Him and Zod are
Right.
just going through that city, tearing shit up. The soundtrack is epic.
Oh, it's amazing. One of the best soundtracks that I've
Ha-
ever heard in a movie,
Hans Zimmer did a great job. Um,
as he always does.
yeah, the scenes on Krypton were brilliant. Um, just visually alone, this movie is great. Um, people talk shit about the character development and how it's not too light like Marvel and shit, but it doesn't need to be because DC has always delved on the darker side of
Yeah.
things. I mean, DC's always been darker than Marvel, so having DC make darker movies and Marvel make lighter movies was never a problem for me. I actually thought it was always a great balance.
Yeah, and because it's a perspective of, you got to think of it this way. Marvel was always those rainbow colors, and all the sunshines and stuff, and then DC was all those blacks and grays and all those like super dark and everything, and
And
it
that
was so
was
they contrasted each other, but it was different because you could go into a DC movie and expect, man, I don't want this movie to be like Iron Man, and it wasn't. It was dark, and you knew that it was going to be, and that's what made it so much more different than Marvel, and that's made it so much more competitive towards each other, and it was so amazing. Don't get me wrong, I love Marvel. Marvel is amazing. They produce very good movies, but when you compare DC and Marvel, you're just comparing light to dark, and you can't really do it.
yeah, and primarily the reason why DC is always viewed as the darker of the two is because of Batman.
Oh yeah,
Batman's world, if anything, is what pushes DC to the stratosphere. You have Batman's world, but within Batman's world, you also have Metropolis, Central City, all these other places where all these heroes live.
yeah,
Um, so since the Dark Knight movies were popular and they were pretty dark, they wanted to do darker Superman, and I think it worked, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Boy Scouty Christopher Reeve old school Superman. Uh,
oh right, everybody
Christopher
honestly
Reeve,
will.
Christopher Reeve is the best Superman of all time.
Oh, of course, there's no doubt about it in
But
my mind.
Cavill, I look at him, that's Superman.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's not just it's not just like oh well, this guy is Superman. This is our new day and age Superman.
Exactly.
This is our Superman. People who grew up with Christopher Reeve, that's their Superman, and he's also my Superman too. He was a great Superman. I loved him. I loved the movies, but this is a Superman that I got to grow up with. This is a Superman that I watched in my time now, and that's what made it so special to me.
So, moving on to 2 years later, let's talk about the probably most polarizing film of all time. Um, and that is
Oh
Batman.
gosh.
That is Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you talk about that because I know you're pretty split on that one.
Yeah. Um. Okay. So I had problems with it, and I also had my enjoyments. I had the classic, the little nodges to the old movie, the Dark Knight Returns movies, and the animated ones with Batman versus Superman. I love that. How they had that little stuff in there. But then
Hmm.
you also had, it was different because they start off fighting, and then Um, they go into it, and it's just manipulation. It feels like the whole movie is just manipulation throughout the entire thing, and it kind of it makes you think, and you don't really want to think when you're watching a movie. You want to enjoy the movie. You don't want to be like, why am I thinking here about this? But you had it, and then by the end of the movie, you had Batman and Superman on the same team, and then bam, here comes Wonder Woman, which was like, why is Wonder Woman here? You know, it's just kind of weird because it wasn't really her movie. But then Doomsday, man, now I got a bone to pick with this. Doomsday I did not like the way he looked. He did not look like the classic scary badass dude that you saw in, like, the shows and stuff like that, and then the comics. He looked like a character that would be in a Rob Zombie movie. I did not like it, and I was like, this is not
he
my
kind of
Doomsday.
he kind of looks like an orc from or a troll from Lord of the Rings.
Oh no, you know what he looks like? He looks like one of those what are those called? Those little the people from the movie Bright. Yeah, he looked like one of those people.
Uh,
I didn't like it, but you got what you got, and you got to think of it. It was, at the end of the day, it was a movie that featured the two most iconic DC superheroes, and you got to like it for that reason. Um, I definitely had my problems with the movie, but I also had things that I liked about the movie. Um, I liked how Superman sacrificed himself to save everyone, and it was amazing. So just to yeah, it's definitely weird to talk about because it's a movie that could go both ways. So
Personally, I've always loved the film. I think there are a couple pacing issues, um, but the 3 hour ultimate cut of the movie, I think, is great. Um, I think I think it's a movie that not a lot of people were ready for when it came out. I think it is a very dark movie and it is very thought provoking, and there's a lot of religious symbolism in it that I don't think a lot of people understood.
yeah,
That being said, could you do a a simpler kind of movie with these two characters? Yeah, but it was interesting to see this done on a grand uh epic scale of like Superman is this godlike being, and people really don't know how to perceive him, and Batman is kind of the face of that, where he's been a hero for 20 years. um he's been through so much with the death of his parents. I'm assuming Barbara has been shot by Joker in this universe already. I'm assuming that Jason Todd has already died. But um, you're just so angry and you're so frustrated and you feel powerless.
right,
Then here comes this god fighting another god in Metropolis. They level the city, and now Superman is flying around, enforcing the law, answering to nobody. This guy could destroy the planet if he wanted, and that makes Batman terrified. And I love how the movie just lays into that in so many
oh
different
yeah,
ways.
100%. Yeah, that's amazing how they do that.
And I know people don't really like Lex Luthor in the movie, um, but I kind of do because I feel like that's how Lex Luthor would be in a modern day. He's kind of like Mark Zuckerberg.
I feel like he was definitely underrated, if you
Right.
know what I mean.
Hmm.
And it just goes to show that people just movie critics will definitely find the little things to nitpick about, and it's definitely his character was definitely one of them. But I liked him as Luther, and I thought he definitely has potential to probably be one of the best Lex Luthers.
Yeah.
Should they pursue him?
Yeah. No, I agree. And as for Wonder Woman being in the film, um, did she have to be there? No, but for the story that they were trying to set up, it was appropriate to bring her in.
Yeah,